Truck drivers spend more time on the road than at home, and they're the ones who see what no one else does. 3 stories. First person. Listen till the end. The last one will stay with you for a while. Names have been changed, and some routes too, at the storyteller's request. But the events themselves, according to them, happened exactly as they remember them. Story 1. The Hitchhiker at kilometer 214. This happened last fall. I was driving the route to St. Petersburg around 3 in the morning. The road was empty, just fog rolling low, right along the asphalt like a river. And there at kilometer 214, where there hasn't been a gas station or a village for a long time, a man was standing, thumbing a ride. I didn't slow down right away. Something about the way he stood didn't sit right with me. Too still, arms at his sides, and he was waving with one hand, no movement at all, like a statue. But I stopped anyway. I thought, you never know. Someone in true. Lee. He got in without a word. All he said was, to the turn for Zareknoy. I know that road. There is no turn for Zareknoy. That village was abandoned back in the 90s. The road was closed, the sign taken down 15 years ago. I decided not to argue. I drove. He stayed silent the whole way, staring straight ahead. And then, at some point, I glanced in the rearview mirror, and the back seat was empty. The passenger door was closed, the seatbelt unfastened, and the man gone. I stopped, got out, walked around the truck. Nothing. The only thing I noticed, on the seat where he'd been sitting, there was a dent, as if someone heavy had really been sitting there. And this is what got me. The window on his side was fogged up from the inside, even though a minute earlier, a living person had been sitting there, breathing. Since then, I take a different route. And other drivers say they've seen that hitchhiker too, over the last 20 years or so. And he always asks for the same thing, a ride to a turn that no longer exists. Story 2. The Voice on Channel 15. We truckers have a radio channel, Channel 15, usually for talking to each other, warning about traffic police, black ice, that sort of thing. At night, it's usually quiet. At most, someone cursing about a bad stretch of ROAD. But that night, I was driving the M4 highway somewhere between Rostov and Krasnodar, and something strange started on the Roddy. Oh, first static, then a voice, a man's voice, calm, started reading out truck plate numbers. Not call signs, actual license plate numbers. Slowly, one after another. I listened for about 5 minutes, and then I realized he was reading out my truck's plate number. He said it twice in a row. Clearly, no mistake. I keyed the mic, asked who this was, what was going on. Silence. And then the voice said one thing. Turn off at the next junction. There's road work. I didn't believe it. Kept driving. And 3 kilometers later, sure enough, road construction. A detour. Trucks backed up for 2 hours. If I hadn't turned off earlier, I'd have driven straight into it. The next night, I switched to Channel 15 again. The voice was there again, reading out numbers, and it read mine again. I asked for his name. He answered, same as you, except I stopped driving a long time ago. After that, the radio went dead, completely silent until morning, even though the battery was full. Other drivers say this voice on Channel 15 has been showing up for years, to different drivers, in different regions, and that it always warns you, but never about the same thing twice. Some say it's the spirit of a trucker who died in an accident years ago, and that he's still working the highway, watching out for the living. Story 3. The rest stop that isn't on the map. This happened to me one winter. I was doing long hauls back then, Ural, Siberia. I was exhausted. My eyes kept closing. I decided to pull over at a rest stop for a couple of hours. My GPS showed one about 40 kilometers ahead. I headed there. I arrived, and it wasn't just a rest stop. It was a whole complex. A gas station, a cafe with the lights on, a few trucks already parked. I was relieved. Went into the cafe to warm you. Inside it was warm. Smelled like food. A woman behind the counter. A couple of truckers sitting at tables, eating in silence. They nodded at me. Didn't look up. I got some tea. Sat down. Started dozing off right there at the table. And half asleep, I heard a conversation at the next table. Two men discussing a route. Naming places I'd never heard of. Not towns. Not villages. Just strings of words, like names from another country. I chalked it up to exhaustion. I woke up in my own truck's cab, at the same rest stop where I'd originally pulled over. Except everything around was dark. No cafe, no gas station, not a single vehicle. Just an empty, snow-covered field by the road. I checked the GPS. The rest stop was still marked there. But when I searched for it again a couple of days later to make sense of it, it wasn't there anymore. No trace, as if it had never existed in the database. Since then, I know that road by heart. And I know for certain, where that cafe light used to be, there's just a snow-covered field. But sometimes driving by at night, I see a light in the distance. Once in a while. Not every time. And then I hit the gas. And I don't stop. Whatever it is that's calling me in to warm up. So, what have you seen on the highway at night? Leave a comment. Maybe your story will be the next video. Subscribe so you don't miss it.